This is Julien, and before we jump right into today's video, I want to let you know about the new YouTube channel that I just launched. I'll put a link to it here below. Check it out. I'm posting on there multiple times a week, short, powerful videos in a bite-sized format, where I know how it is. Sometimes you're just too busy to dive into a 30-minute, an hour-long video, and you just want a short pick-me-upper, and that's what this channel is about. I've taken the most powerful concepts that I teach, and I've packaged them in an easily digestible format. So no matter who you are, how busy you are, you can get the value. So click the link here below, be sure to subscribe and to hit the little bell next to it so that you're notified next time a video comes your way, and as always, enjoy.
This is Julien, and I'm here in Oslo, Norway, and what I want to talk about in this video here is how to overcome fear. That thing that just holds us back in so many areas of life. I'm afraid. I don't know if I can. It's too scary. And just take a moment to picture a life without fear. Just take it in. What would your life look like? No longer being held back by this thing called fear. How you would feel, how you would act, what you would be doing. You'd probably be smiling. You'd feel a lot looser. Take a moment. What does it feel like? That's what we're going to accomplish in this video here. Now, before we jump in, do consider hitting the subscribe button below this video. It helps the channel tremendously, and hit the little bell next to it so that you're notified next time a video comes your way. That being said, let's do this. So the first thing you need to understand before we get to the how-to is that there are two types of fear. There's realistic fear and unrealistic fear. Realistic fear is good. It's when the emotion that is fear kicks in. And this emotion contains valuable data. Okay, it's necessary. You wouldn't be alive without it. We tend to dismiss all fear, like I must overcome all fear. All fear is bad, but that's not true. Okay, realistic fear is necessary. If there's a threat and I don't experience that emotion that is fear, sending me the data like, hey, don't go there, you're gonna die, what's preventing me from going there? I'd probably be dead. Okay, so the emotion that is fear is good. However, the way it works is the threat is present, you experience fear, the threat is gone, you don't experience fear. Okay, that is realistic fear. Unrealistic fear is when you experience fear when there is no threat. Okay, when fear, as an example, becomes this permanent state, just always tense, always afraid when there's no reason to be afraid. Or conditioned fear, where you fear something that isn't a threat, but you're conditioned to believe that it is a threat. Or when you're triggered, as an example, and we're going to talk about this, where your response to reality is disproportionate. Why? Because trauma is being poked at. That is unrealistic fear. That's what you must let go of, but not realistic fear. Okay, so I want to make this subtle point here because we do live in a society that's like, just get rid of all fear. But if you're trying to do that, you're ultimately trying to disown an important part of who you are, the emotion that is fear. Every single emotion, and remember this, has its place and is necessary. The same thing with guilt. If you didn't experience the emotion that is guilt, you wouldn't know that you're doing something that's out of alignment or out of integrity with who you are. Okay, if you didn't experience stress even, you would know like, hey, there's something you need to bring your attention to. There's something important right here. So every emotion has its place, but every emotion is temporary and always serves a purpose. So let's get into the practical steps to overcome this unrealistic fear. Step number one is go out and experience more of the world. You might be thinking, what? To overcome fear, like experience more of the world? Yes. You want to know why? Because the more you experience the world, the less you fear. A lot of this unrealistic fear comes from being a little too sheltered. And this is key. If you take someone and you raise them their entire lives in this little safe room, in their little safe space, it's like, don't go out. It's a scary world out there. Just stay in your room. That person going out into the street for the first time, as an example, just seeing the wind and like the trees move could be like, what is that? What is a tree? It's not an actual threat, but because they haven't experienced much, any little thing can be scary. So if you go out and you actually put yourself into new situations, go and experience new things, you get to know the world more, and you get to know what is a threat or not, as opposed to assuming that perhaps every little thing that is unknown is a threat. Okay, this is something I personally experienced when I first started traveling. In the very beginning, I'm like, oh, I'm flying to a new country. I'm all alone. I have to do different events and set it up. Oh my God. And I actually experienced fear. Now, was there an actual threat there? No. Going to an event, like there's no threat to my life. However, because it was new, there was that fear around it. But then the more I did it, at some point I'm like, oh yeah, it was just an event. There is nothing to fear. And that just faded away. Okay, so experience the world. Put yourself in new situations. Don't live a sheltered life. And remember that saying, the more you experience the world, the less you fear. That is step number 1. Step number 2 is break the feedback loop. Okay, when you're experiencing fear or living in this state that is fear, there's a feedback loop that happens. Okay, this state colors your perception of the world and it controls your RAS. Okay, this is your selective focus, where we're all in the same physical world, but we don't experience it the same way and we don't see it the same way. If you're in a state of fear, you're going to be filtering out any information that isn't aligned with that state. If you're here recording this video as an example, if you're in a state of fear, you're going to be looking around like, are people staring at me? Am I being judged? What's going on? What if this happens? What about that? That's what you're going to focus on. If you're in a state of anger, as another example, you might be here and be saying, you know what, it's kind of cold here. I don't know about all this snow. Oh, I don't know about this. Just coloring your perception. Okay, so our internal states color our perception of the world, and we're going to tune into things that keep that state alive, that are aligned with that state. So if you're living in this state of fear, you're going to be picking up on things that reinforce it, that are aligned with it, that then make you feel more afraid, and it's this endless loop. And you gotta break that loop. And the way you do this is that you make yourself focus on things that are aligned with and that reinforce a different state. Okay, a challenge that I love to do and that I recommend you do as well is what I call the Good Deeds Challenge, where every day for 30 days, just give yourself this challenge. For 30 days, every day write down 3 good deeds that you saw someone do. Whether it's a small good deed like holding the door open, just 3 good deeds you saw someone do, and do 3 good deeds yourself. If you do this for 30 days, what is it doing? It's taking control of your focus, and instead of letting it just automatically go towards fear, it's going towards, kindness. People are friendly, people helping each other, and you break that loop. Okay, another thing you can do is just cut out the news. Why? Because so much of the news is just pumping this state of fear. Take out all those influences that keep it alive. It doesn't mean, of course, become oblivious to real threats. Be like, oh, there is no such thing as any fear at all. No. But if you're someone who's just really stuck, always fearing things, then yeah, change those influences and you'll notice a lot of that unrealistic fear will start fading away. So that's step number 2. And step number 3 is to reown the different aspects of yourself that you disowned in the past, including past traumatic experiences, as an example, that are keeping a lot of this unrealistic fear alive. Okay, if you take the example of being triggered, okay, what is being triggered? When your response is disproportionate to reality. So let's just say you experienced some trauma as a child where you were shamed in class. Now, from an adult perspective, this doesn't look or sound very traumatic. You're like, well, what do you mean shamed in class? Don't be a little special snowflake. But from a child's perspective, it's very overwhelming. From your perspective as a child, the classroom is the world. You don't know about the world beyond the classroom. If you don't fit in this classroom, it feels like you're going to die. So your survival instinct kicks in. You're like, oh, I'm going to die if I speak up. Everyone's shaming me. So I'm going to disown the part of me that speaks up. Never speak up again. And then you live your life that way. And here you are in your adult life. You're like, oh, a situation where I have to speak up. And you get triggered. That same survival instinct, I'm going to die if I do this, kicks in. Now, realistically, in a public setting, if you speak up or say something, are you going to die? Is there an actual threat? The answer is no. Now, I guess it depends where you live. If you live in a very dangerous area, then there might be a real threat, and that might be realistic fear. But in most cases, out in public, the worst that'll happen is someone might stare at you. That's really it. Yet we feel like we're going to die. That is when you're triggered. That is a part of unrealistic fear. Or the constant state of fear. That's a more subtle way of being triggered. Just never truly being able to feel at home in your body, feel at home with yourself, Why? Because there's all this stuff you're stuffing down. That's not me, keep it down, disown it, disown it. So the more you reown who you are and validate who you are, the less you will be triggered, and this whole chunk of unrealistic fear will fade away. Okay? Fear of speaking in public is unrealistic fear. It's not necessarily comfortable, but a lot of it is something inside of you being poked at. Going to say hi to a stranger, saying hi to a girl, saying hi to a guy, that's not something to be very afraid of. Nothing's gonna really happen except for, no thank you. That's the worst case scenario if someone doesn't want to say hi to you. No thank you, that's it. Yet we feel like the world's gonna explode. I've seen it for years in the dating world where guys just can't go up and say hi to a girl because they feel like they're gonna die. I can't. That's you being triggered. Okay, that's unrealistic fear. So the more you reown, the less you're triggered. Now, understanding this dynamic, this is key. You can use times when you're triggered to identify things that you previously disowned. Because that's one of the hardest parts with reowning those aspects, is that they're so far out of your awareness that if you even try to think like, what did I disown? How do I become aware of what I disowned? You can't. There are layers and layers and layers of resistance. Now, when you're triggered, what happens? That aspect of you, as an example, speaking out in public, of expressing yourself that you disowned as a child, as an example, gets poked at and starts coming up closer to the surface, closer into your awareness. And that's where it's the scariest. You're like, oh, I'm gonna have to embody this aspect to become this aspect, and you freak out. Now what we do is we try to avoid situations where we're triggered. We think it's bad, but if you understand this dynamic, being triggered is good. Why? Because the closer it is to your awareness, the easier it is to catch, to become aware of, and then you can trace it back to its source and reown what's being poked at inside of you. Okay, so being triggered is great. Use it to your advantage. Use it as a compass to identify what was previously disowned. And once more, the more you reown, the less you fear. So those are the 3 steps. Experience the world more, break that feedback loop, reown the aspects of yourself that you disowned, using the times where you experience a lot of this unrealistic fear as a compass. That's how you really get to the cause, and free yourself from this fear that just ruins far too many lives. So apply these 3 steps right now, and if you resonate with this and you want to go even deeper, click the link below this video and become part of Transformation Mastery Academy. That's my premium program. It goes far beyond the free videos that are fun. They start getting you thinking differently. That's the program that I'm known for. I'd love for you to be a part of it. Click the link here below, and I'll see you on the inside.
We live in an uncertain world. Just turn on the news, what do you see? Chaos, terror, suffering. Things are changing so fast that your head is spinning. You know the feeling, being pulled in different directions by your friends, your family, mainstream media, not knowing what to do or who to believe. Did you ever stop and ask yourself, how did your life get this way?
I felt so much shame when it comes to being me, and now I don't feel that shame anymore.
I had no way of being able to deal with that pain, and for the first time in my life, I finally feel an inner stillness and peace in myself.
I didn't even know what was happening. Like, my hands were just shaking, and it was just like me being my authentic self.
Most of us live lives of escapism. Anything to cope with this feeling eating us up inside. Distracting ourselves with dumb things on TV, numbing ourselves with junk food, alcohol, cigarettes, and drugs. Is this the way life was meant to be, or is there perhaps another way?
It's been the first time in over 10 years since my dad died that I actually felt like I did before.
I've decided to take a stance for good, for love, for authenticity, and I've created a movement of people dedicated to raising the vibe. A movement dedicated to doing something about this, and it's called Transformation Mastery Academy.
That was amazing, just being able to finally find that root reason.
I really want to thank each and every one of you out of the bottom of my heart. Thank you, guys.
Now, I'm not some fake guru promising you overnight results. What I promise you here is a tribe of people to help support you and guide you along this journey. In Transformation Mastery Academy, you'll no longer be alone. You'll no longer feel lost. You will be given the roadmap to true, permanent personal transformation. Enough with this fake life of quiet desperation. Step into your truth and join the movement.